Hey, how's it going today? Sunday. We are taking a look at finance, everything what has to do with finance. Something I'm planning to do every weekend later on. Let's start with Sunday and progress from there. On Sundays, I will be looking for, if anything, perhaps securing finance and what finance is available, different opportunities available up there. And there's so many different emails that I need to review and read either way, so I thought might as well share that information with others. Would all those opportunities perhaps some of those opportunities might be slightly too ambitious for entry level, but for 15 million or so, let's start with perhaps entry level and progress from there. Let's begin with space and what kind of opportunities there are within UK when we are taking a look at space. It's not necessarily limited to UK. Most governments has space agencies within different territories within the UK. They working in collaboration with different space agencies, as well as there are a lot of grant funding opportunities. I can cover. I would need to read all those opportunities either way in the detail. Some of those opportunities might be very ambitious. Entry point might be we're talking about hundreds of millions or tens of millions, right? So perhaps some of those might be too big, but there are some there are perhaps entry level opportunities up there available as well. Uh, Within this video, I'm going to be taking a look at space research and development projects and what some of those projects are. Last time, all this information was updated roughly about a week ago, 23rd of November 2023. And there are so many different ones, and I'm taking a look at UK Space Agency, right? I'm not entirely sure about the funding. I think it partly works with Europe's space agency, and you might need to seek some assistance from there as well. It's all the process is slightly complicated, but within this video, we're gonna be taking a look at different funding opportunities available for any business within the UK. Well, you might need to be approved, all that stuff. We can touch on that a little bit later. But let's start and with some of those opportunities available and delve deeper in some of those. Let's start from the top and try to understand some of those. The first one would be connecting in low Earth orbit, or DOC, LEO, Research and Development Program. Since we're talking about lower orbit, and the budget for this project is about £15 million. Perhaps it's not the something for myself. Perhaps worth taking a look at. Not, but I would not necessarily be looking or reading for more than perhaps 5 to 10 minutes, and I would move on to the next one. Since perhaps worth or taking a look and try to understand some of those projects out there, some of those opportunities, but perhaps not in the beginning. It would take too much of the time trying to even to try to understand some of those opportunities since there are so many of those, right? So this particular partner, perhaps not in the beginning. Let's take a look at next one. Next one would be SBRA, Active Debris Removal Refueling Mission Feasibility Study Phase 1. And we're talking about 500,000. Okay, so that's a little bit better. Not necessarily a good place to start since we're talking about perhaps 10 different businesses, perhaps 20 tops who can complete this size of the project, and the budget is about half of million to do it. I don't want to go too much into detail and trying to understand this opportunity. Perhaps it's not a good place to begin again. 500,000 start might be too time consuming and just understand everything. Let's start with even smaller projects if there are any. The next one that would be Space Support AO Grant Call Autumn 2023. Funding type Research Innovative and Technology Development. You can apply UK-based researchers who can already secure feasibility access to microgravity or space environments research platforms throughout the ESA Okay, uh, so we're looking to work with researchers, and perhaps that would be part of the process how they would have to source the funding for something. But again, that's very internal. I'm not necessarily interested in bringing external people to do it. You can perhaps do it, but that opportunity, most likely for me, that's a waste of time. Let's move on to the next one. Next opportunity, Phase T, UK National Delegate Support from ESA Competitiveness and Growth Program. Funding type, research, innovative and technology development. Who can apply? Organizations processing telecommunication projects. All organizations must be registered within the UK. A little bit better, since there might be some opportunities there, but again, uh, and not for me, perhaps for others who are interested, there is opportunities there. Let's take a look at the next one. Exploration, science, working group support. Funding type, travel, time, support, academics. So this one, perhaps a good place to begin, a good place to start, since we're taking a look at the budget range about 40,000. So that's a good place to start. So budget overall is good. Time, there's no time limit, they're completing those, but that will be perhaps entry level, how the many businesses and where they could begin, right? From there, they can progress and double those numbers up to perhaps 100,000, 200, and perhaps £500,000, and from there in millions, right? But this particular program, I'm way too busy, but perhaps it's worth reading for some of those opportunities for others who are interested. Myself, I'm not that keen in doing something like that right now. Next one, RTs, Advanced Technology. Well, this particular opportunity on hold for a time being. Funding type, research, innovative and development. Who can apply? UK organizations and companies. UK Space Agency and ESA approved required. Again, so there's some approval process for not necessarily all the companies, right? From there, since I'm not entirely sure what they mean by that, so UK Space Agency, I think it's an independent company, and eventually it will go away from ESA, from what I understand, but I don't know about funding, and perhaps some of the administration within the UK, what they will agree on. For the time being, both of these companies are working together, since there's a lot of funding that was taken from what I understand, from UK, and paid for ESA and developing some of those projects, right? From there, we're progressing into funding, and that will be dependent on advanced technology activity. And some of those important parts that will be, this is ESA initiated program offering up to 100% funding. So that they would potentially cover all the funding, all the expenses, right? So which is kind of great. But again, I'm not entirely sure about the entire budget and some of the tasks that would be within this project and this particular opportunity currently on hold, right? But that's something that myself I'm interested in, right? Perhaps that would be one of those opportunities. I'll put this one, and if we were gonna find any more interesting ones, I'll come back to this particular opportunity. Next opportunity, that would be Navigation Innovation Support Program. Okay, that's something that most likely I'm gonna need to have, to say that it's access in the future, right? So perhaps might as well build something for myself. Funding type, research, innovative and development. Who can apply? UK organizations working in positioning, navigation and timing, undertaking technology research and development, focus on commercial innovation. When they say UK's organizations, I'm not entirely sure how they would classify that, since there's a different structures of organizations. Some of those can be, to begin, for profit, some of those can be not for profit, right? And then they say organizations, it can be different sizes of organizations as well as different structures of organizations, so it's very broad. But perhaps there would be interested to hear and see who is interested in working with them in the first place. And they're not looking to go too much into detail, but this opportunity I'm very interested in. Next, we're progressing into funding. 100% of funding for developing early technologies and innovations, typically between 200 and or 800 to space enable positioning and navigating and timing. So we're taking a look at the 200,000 and 800. So they're ranging between, right? And that's in euros, right? So perhaps collaborating and working with Europe on this particular project. Myself, I'm interested. I don't know if it's one going to be too difficult project to complete, right? But myself, I'm interested in this opportunity. And again, it's for this project to begin. Entry level might be too high for many people, in particular if it's not something that you have done in the past. Let's take a look at the next one. In different projects that are there available. The next one would be student support. ESA microgravity programs. Funding type research innovative development who can apply UK based teams successfully selected by ESA for certain student support programs. So if you were to be selected to what certain programs, you can receive funding of £5,000, right? If it's something that you yourself might be interested. Perhaps if you are based on your age, you might need to operate with research institution like university, and from there perhaps they would be able to fund it. But again, it depends on where you're seeking that funding for. But there's a process in place to receive that funding. Next opportunity, responsive mode call, exploration community development. Okay, so that's more of the entry level. So beginner friendly opportunity, I would say. And we take a look at funding type, development and promotion of UK space exploration community. Who can apply? UK individuals and organizations. So okay, so it's even open for individuals, which is kind of great. Funding support will be granted to a maximum of £50,000. Okay, that's it. We're looking to accomplish completely different things for many people. We're looking to where to begin, where to start, and some of those opportunities down the line, you would understand how to structure some of those contracts. In particular, if you really want to work with some of those organizations for perhaps 8 years or 10 years, you're looking where to begin. With 50,000, perhaps you can hire a project manager. That's it. You can start with 50,000. You can hire a project manager for perhaps 12 months, right? Unless you secure a contract with UK Space Agency for perhaps 5 years, then you can hire a little bit more people and perhaps just begin slowly generating. But again, it's very complex, and depending who I'm talking to, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, right? But that's more of the beginner-friendly opportunity, so perhaps worth taking a look at this one as well. For time being, I have selected 3 different opportunities. So those was a quick review of everything what is currently happening, what kind of opportunities they do have available. It's constantly being updated, so there might be some more opportunities coming in, and some of those opportunities might be closing very soon. So up to the current time frame. So this is how many opportunities they have available. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a journal. Within the journal, I'm sharing a lot of information. In particular, I'm focusing a lot on how to establish and structure routines. To build something that would last, it would definitely require a lot of time with depending. You yourself, you might need to start with smaller projects and progress to larger ones. But you can only do that once you have some of structure when it comes to your day, when it comes to your time. If you were to pick up this journal, I would highly recommend you work from cover to cover. That should be enough time to establish a habit. Within every page, I would highly recommend to focus on 24 hours or window of time, right? Within this window, there would be particular areas what I would believe everyone should focus on, and within those areas where everyone should begin establishing some of those small routines, right? You can find this journal, a QR code in the corner, company's website below. I'm already over 10-minute mark, so this video is gonna be way too long if I would have to go too much into detail. But that would be three of the different opportunities that I have selected for myself. If you yourself are interested, feel free to do your own research or delve a little bit deeper, try to understand all those opportunities. But I would highly recommend to begin with the smaller ones and perhaps close those opportunities in 6 months to 12 months. and from those progress into bigger ones, and build systems around yourself where you can close from tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands, and you progress to millions, right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.